Welcome everyone, Madman bringing another RSL video. So today I want to talk about Gnut and the fusion that's going on and just started today. And I want to point something out here real quick. Okay, he's very solid, definitely worth going for, but don't think he's going to be the super god that you're thinking of. Now, is he awesome for dungeons? Yes. Because of this triple max HP, yes, he can, if you've seen the other CCs, the bigger CCs that have test server access, which I don't have and I'm fine with, they've shown you that he can sit there and one-shot the spider or ice golem on 20. Now remember, on 20, you're not capped by that 10%. But since he can do up to 30% damage, even on the 10%, because he's doing 3 hits, if you build him up to where he can do enemy max HP and hit 10% each hit, then you can do 30. He's still an awesome champion there for the hard or stage 21 through 25 of normal in the dungeons. What I fear is some people are going to sit there and think that he's going to be a Hydra god. He's going to be very good, but he's not going to be a Hydra god. Why? Attacks one enemy 3 times. This is not enemy max HP. He does attack all enemies on here, and he places a decrease attack and weaken plus the counterattack. That is huge, especially right now against the Head of Wrath, because he's annoying as all get out. Weaken is very solid. So you got 2 there. And decreased defense would be more beneficial for you, but decreased attack is definitely a solid thing there. Plus the counterattack with his passive allows him to do 100% damage from his A1 instead of 75. But his A3, remember, attacks one enemy. This is single target 3 times. That's why he's awesome. Awesome in dungeons, but is not going to be as solid a champ in Hydra as you think, right? He attacks 3 times. Remember, Krisia is going to be the goddess for Hydra. Why? All enemies, 2 times, right? 4 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hit the second time. 5, 6, 7, 8. So she's hitting all 4 heads. If you've got her set up for maximum damage there, 20% on every head. That's a lot of damage. He can't do that. That's 8. This hits an 8. This hits a 4. Her A1 is better than his A3. Period. End of story. Attacks all enemies. Now, plus, this is on a 3-turn cooldown when booked. What is this on? 3-turn cooldown when booked. She's just a goddess there. All right. He is on a 4-turn cooldown when booked. Now, real quick here. I think it's Undead Hordes. Is it Undead Hordes? Husk. Going to be the same thing. Enemy max HP. He's on a 4-turn cooldown, but he hits all enemies. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 10% is 40%. Now, not technically because you're doing 10% on each head, but 10% on each head adding up to 40% damage versus 10% on one head 3 times, that's 30% damage. Husk is going to be better. Same thing with Royal Guard. They're going to be better because they're doing all AoE, and they're on that same 4-turn cooldown. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to be very solid in Hydra, because he's adding that decreased attack and weaken. The freeze or turn meter do you absolutely no good there, but he's also permanently decreasing the defense, I believe, on that A3 as well. Yeah, attacks one enemy. Each hit decreases the target defense by 3%, stacks up to 30. I can't remember what head it is, but one head has just got crazy amount of defense, so that will be helpful. Now, I don't know if just that 30% decreased defense will be for any damage dealt by this champion alone, or if your other champions in the comp will be able to take advantage of that as well. That will remain to be unseen. But that's a few little warnings I want to give you. Don't go in there thinking he's going to be a super god like a Krisia. He is definitely going to be solid against bosses because it's single target, but in Hydra, he's not going to be near as effective, though, as a Krisia. So, catch 22 there. But anyway, let's go over and discuss the fusion and the calendar there of it. Okay, so like we said, it started today. You got Artifact Enhancement, Spider Tournament, and Champ Training. Um, you may want to do a little bit of Artifact Enhancement. You may want to do a little bit of Champ Training. But if you can hold off on all three of these, for the most part, until tomorrow, that will be the most effective there. Now, why do I say that? Okay, Spider is going to count towards Dungeon Divers. Champ Training, if you're doing campaign farming, is going to count towards Dungeon Divers. But tomorrow also starts CVC. So if you can upgrade your gear starting tomorrow, plus do the forge farming or whatever, that's going to count towards CVC. So it'd be better to wait on those until then. And then, let's see, we got Classic Arena, and then we got Dragon. Now, Dragon overlaps, so between Dragon, Spider, and Champ Training, easily going to get Dungeon Divers 1 done. If you need to do Dragon to finish that overlap on Dungeon Divers, fine, but try and save a little Dragon a little bit, because you have 2 days here of this second Dungeon Divers event. And I don't know how many points they're going to put. Hopefully it's not too crazy, but because you got 2 days of Dragon there, and what is that? It's technically really only a day there of Ice Golem overlapping that, and then you got 2 days of the Champ Training Tournament. Now, this is where, remember, the Champ Training event, you don't get credit for books and or ascending, whereas you do during the Champ Training Tournament. But those won't count towards Dungeon Divers because you're not farming campaign. So keep that in mind. Fire Knight, everybody likes to get the gear from Fire Knight, and that overlaps this Dungeon Diver. Same thing with Ice Golem, a little bits there. So, and some of the Champ Training. So, best to try and overlap this as much as possible, but don't leave yourself short depending on how the resources you have and how quick. When I first started, geez, Fire Knight 20 was taking me 12 to 15 minutes. So, good thing I had a lot of time to actually play the game. Otherwise, I might not have gotten some of these things done. But, back then, it would take me almost a full 3 days to get stuff done. So, be leery of that. Now, the Summon Rush, remember, if you go and pick up this epic here, great, but you're still going to have to do Champ Training because Champ Chase, because this Champ Chase and the Summon Rush are over on the Void. That is not Void. So could you knock 4 of these out? Yeah, you could essentially skip all 4 of those if you pick up that during the Summon Rush. Most likely, depending on your silver, you may want to skip Artifact Enhancement events if you pick him up. Or Ice Golem and maybe Arena, even though, generally Arena is easy. But you could, skip the Artifact event, maybe that Dungeon Diver event or whatever. You could skip some if you're going to pick up this epic. Now, you might want a copy of the epic. I don't think he's that great. But those are the things. So try and hold off as much as you can until tomorrow. Be a little patient. But again, it's going to depend on the time you have and the resources you have available. So let's go back over to my main account here and discuss a few more things. I remember during the Champ Chase, it's at the very end. So, if you happen to pick up any of these rares through mystery shards, it's going to be pointless at that point in time, but could be helpful during Summon Rush. Or when you're pulling your shards during Summon Rush, you might pick up some of them as well. That will ease things, but not necessarily, help you finish it off. But anyway, back over to the main. So back over here on my main, and there's a few things I want to point out. So I still got like 7-8 hours left before reset. So what I'm going to try and do is burn up this 280 energy as fast as I can, and then whatever energy I get, I want to try and burn, but I want to be as close to 130 right before reset as possible. Now, what I normally do, especially when a fusion's coming up, so the daily energy and the advanced energy is waiting for me. I'm going to pull that right before reset. The weekly, since I still got 2 days before I set this off, I will save those pots of energy. Same thing with the playtime rewards there. I'm going to grab this pot right before reset, and that will push me pretty far past the 130 mark, but I want to try and maximize the amount of energy being used during this fusion for this first day. Otherwise, probably about the only thing I'm going to touch is arena. I can do things and have the time to go through spider champ training and everything else starting tomorrow. I may or may not do a little bit of the artifact enhancement, but I'll probably hold off on that as well. So, now one thing I want to point out, the bigger CCs keep preaching this to you, and while not incorrect, it's not efficient is what I want to put out, okay? Not efficient. So what am I talking about here? They want to throw brews into feeder champs. No, I want to throw brews into rank up champs. So what am I going to do here, right? I got this. I'm going to 3-star here, and I'm going to throw 3 brews in. Cost me 21,000 coin. Remember, it costs you coin to brew up, right? And each brew is worth 7,000 points. Doesn't matter if it's going to a 4-star, if it's going in a 3-star, or 2-star, whatever. It's always 7,000 coin. So 1, 2, 3. Boom. 3 brews going into her. And then where's my green? Because I like to space these out. And as you can see, I have plenty of brews. I could do both champ training, totally brewing, and you suck up all my coin doing that, and never have to do campaign whatsoever. But this video is for those that are on limited resources that might be free to play or low spenders here, like I said, that have limited or smaller amounts of resources. These are not feeder champs. These are the rake up champs. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take these 3 and I'm going to go over here to campaign, and I'm going to farm stage 3 of brutal, 12-3 brutal, and I'm going to farm it. Now, I won't have to do as many runs because I put the brews in. Now, I'm not going to sit there and show you all this, so I will go ahead and fast forward when this is all done. Okay, there. So, as you can see now, they're up to level 30 there, and that took 16 runs versus I want to say the normal 24. Now this is assuming double XP is on. Normally though, this is 17 runs, but that extra 10% that I'm getting from the Forge Pass saved me 1 run. So now we're going to come over here. Now this is where the big CCs sit there and say, all right, let's put our brews into the food champ. No, don't do that. Be more efficient about it, right? You threw the brews into your rank up champs. Go ahead, feed them just your regular food and level them up. Now once I want to do the 4s, I would just throw 3 brews into all of them and then go ahead and finish farming. That's the way you do it most efficient. Now, why is that most efficient? Well, that uses the least amount, it spreads your resources. The least amount of energy, well, not the least amount, but a lower amount of energy. It makes you some more coin, not a whole lot, but it makes you some more coin. It does use some of your brews, but not a mass amount of brews as well, doing the upgrades. And it's going to yield you more 5-star food. Don't throw brews in the 5-star food either. If you want to be efficient, okay? Remember this, if you want to be efficient. Not saying that the bigger CCs are wrong in any way. They are not, but they are coming from a perspective of, I have a wallet with a credit card, cash, PayPal account, or whatever, and I don't mind spending. That's why they are whales, they are krakens, or whatnot. Even moderate spenders, right? Some dolphins in there. I don't know, maybe some tuna or whatever you want to talk about. If you're free to play or low spend with a lot less resources, you've got to be aware of what you have and try and make maximum use out of that. So this will yield more 5-stars. What does that mean? Well, hey, if I can get 3 5-stars out of this champ training event and level these 3 up, yay, good. If I do it their way, I'll be able to rank up 1 and maybe be 1 or 2, maybe even 3 towards the second one, and that's going to be it. You're not going to get the yield of 5-star food to get the champ you want to 6-star as much. Now, does it save you time? Oh yeah. You want to save time? Throw in the brews. In fact, you want to save the maximum amount of time. You got enough brews, you got enough coins, go ahead. Throw them all in there. I have plenty. I could do both of these and never step foot in campaign. Both champ training events, right? I can do it. But it's not efficient that way. I don't like running it that way, right? Plus, that sucks the coin down, right? And if you need to do those artifact enhancements, this might not be enough to do all 3. Might not, but it should be at least close. Anyway, so by doing it this way, I'm using my brews, not just let them sit there. Now they have built up quite a bit, but the reason that happens is because coin to me is the most precious commodity, right? Energy refills, you can get gems one way or the other pretty quick. I actually have more gems on my free to play than I do here on the main. I do not have the $10 a month gem pack on the free to play, and I do not have the gem mine open on the free to play, and I have more gems. Why? Well, I didn't spend them on that, so am I losing out? Yeah, maybe a little bit at this point, because I've played quite a long time, over 2 years on that account, or I'm real close to the 2-year mark here. I want to say I'm a few days away, but either way, I don't have the gem mine open on free to play, but I still have more gems. Now, do I use them as much? Do I have as many 6-stars and all that? No, I do not. So, there is a trade-off, but I've saved up a bunch, because I can do the clan boss and everything else. So you get a fair amount of gems. Either way, though, I'm going to suck down this energy and try and maximize the most amount of energy until reset, and that's when I'm going to grab the other energy. I use my brews and my coin more efficiently to put them into rank up champs instead of food champs. Remember, you're not going to take that old appliance and clean it up if you're going to haul it off to the dump. You're not going to do it. So why would you throw brews into a champ that you're going to feed? You're not. Don't do it that way. That is inefficient, right? You don't own that Lamborghini. If you own the Lamborghini, do it any way you want. It doesn't matter. Then throwing brews in, they figured out the most efficient amount of brews to level ratio and all of that. Go ahead, be my guest. And I could do that. I'm not a Lamborghini owner. I've just slowly built up, and this is how I built it up over time there, doing it my way. It'd be better off I use these brews in the barrels? Yes, it would be. I should bring those numbers way, way down. Problem is, it costs you coin, and that's my resource, right? Getting the better gear, and I need that coin for the better gear, not leveling champs. So why not use my energy as best as possible? Anyway, there you go. That's how to do it efficiently. Like I said, I am not saying that it is wrong. It's just coming from a different point of view, right? My point of view that I'm trying to spell out is, hey, I don't have a lot of resources or whatever. Now, remember, this is for maximum efficiency. If you want maximum speed, then brews. But you've got to weigh your options. I don't have access to your accounts, right? I don't know how much coin you have. I don't know how many brews you have. I don't know how much time you have to play the game. If you've only got an hour or two a day and you're trying to go for this fusion, then you're going to want to throw brews in for champion training and go that route, or as much as you possibly can. It's going to depend on the resources you have available. If you only got 200 brews, you're not going to get that far. You're going to have to farm campaign. If you've got close to 5,000 like me, okay, especially, if you got 200,000 or 200 million coin or whatever the heck, then yeah, just go ahead and brew them up and be done with it, but maybe the coin's still precious to you, so that's why you have up to 200,000. So, it's the perspective of where you're coming from with your resources that I'm trying to just make clear here, right? To either maximum efficiency or maximum time. Also remember, again, during the events, books, and Ascension don't do you any good. But you can see, I started off, what did I have? We are at 152 energy. I started off with 308 for the day. You didn't show up through the video there, but just from, I think, just leveled her up. So between grabbing her level there and a little bit of leveling up I did mainly with brews, that's how I'm already at, what are we at? 486 points, right? And I've probably used 9, 18, I want to say it's either 18 or 27 brews, and then 156 energy. That's it. I'm already at that point level, so I haven't used that much. So there you go. That's a more efficient way, and I want it, I've done a video on it. Go find that technical video of that if you want a little deeper dive into it. But this is a more efficient way for those people or players, I should say, that are free to play, low spend, with a lot more limited resources. But you got to do, the way you want to feel comfortable based on your resources. So there you go. Doing it my way, you're not really, doing it. And I've done videos with the fusion as well, going kind of through it between all the energy you get from daily quests, advanced quests, the playtime rewards or whatever, and then some energy you're going to get from time to time through here. And if you have about 2,000 gems, typically you can run through all of everything you need to do is more than enough as far as dungeon divers and champ training and all of that. Whereas, then that just leaves shards and the amount of coin for artifact enhancement. It also depends on where you are as far as where you're at in arena, but that's still doable as well. But there you go, in a nutshell. There is what I feel, and I have kind of proven statistically, a more efficient way of farming food and stuff during champ training versus the most quickest way. Okay, so again, I don't want to beat the horse any more than it's already been beaten, but I've laid it out. So go ahead, good luck on the fusion, and have a nice day.